Welcome to today's episode. I am so happy to be here today, and I have an awesome interview lined up for you today with Tina-Marie Wilken. Tina-Marie is a mindset and success coach for overwhelmed and multi-passionate entrepreneurs, and she's the founder of the Focus to Flourish signature program. She's also a graduate of the Goal Imagery Institute for coaching. I'm so happy you're here today, Tina-Marie. Thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you for having me. I feel honored.
And is there anything I missed in that intro? Anything you'd like me to add or share?
Now that I'm obsessed pretty much about mindset, and my background's business, and so that's kind of combined passion. This year I plan on being certified in neurolinguistic programming and hypnotherapy, so I'm excited about learning about those modalities this year as well.
Amazing. That's awesome. And so before we jump in, I'd love to know, how do you start your day?
I actually have a morning routine, and then I have a workday start routine. And so I read The Miracle Morning, I think by Hal Elrod, and he has a certain morning routine where you start off with more meditation, affirmations, a visualization, exercise, and reading and journaling. That seems to take up a lot of time, so I've kind of condensed it. So what I do is I do one or the other, whether it's a meditation or visualization. They always include an affirmation. And then I like to go exercise, and I read for 15 minutes, either a business article or something new when it comes to positive psychology. And then I exercise, and I'll have breakfast and start my day. And then I start my day with the work day routine. And this was a new thing for me. I learned it from Michael Hyatt, the focus planner guy. And it's really interesting. It really helped me focus my day instead of just diving straight into emails.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a set day where I just kind of look at what my goals are for this week, what I need to do, what are my top 3 priorities to meet those goals, and then whatever else is left, like with meetings and stuff like that. And then I kind of start my day.
Amazing. Yeah, I find it can be such a suck to go straight into the emails and stuff at the start of the day. I really try to avoid that too. And I remember I spent a lot of time doing Miracle Morning, and then it is so long. There's so much to it. So I'm similar, condensing things and I like to mix it up a lot in the morning when I do things. And so what compelled you to become a mindset coach?
Well, about 4 years ago, when I started my coaching business, my background was accounting and being in the restaurant business. So I had a lot of operations and administrative hands-on kind of experience. And with accounting as well, I started a bookkeeping company with my best friends. And I thought I was going to be a CPA. I was like literally going to school for business for it. And I realized I don't like bookkeeping. I'm really good at it, but I didn't want to be that or do that. So I decided to get into coaching. And I started helping my clients. And about 2 years ago, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't show up for my business, why I wasn't doing the things I knew that I needed to do. It's like, I know business. Why am I not putting myself out there? So I started reading all these books and studying all the successful millionaires, all the successful business owners, even through history. And they seem to be a common theme, that they all factored mindset into it and how mindset was a huge thing. And so I started learning more and more about law of attraction, money mindset, but more importantly about limiting beliefs that we have as kids that subconsciously have us acting in the future, like right now, and how we treat our money, how we treat our relationships, and how it can stop us from making the right decisions, even though we know we should be doing them. So that kind of helped me dive into studying mindset in general, neurolinguistic programming, and that's where my obsession's kind of driven off to that. So I switched more into business strategy and mindset for my clients.
Amazing. And what is the legacy that you want to leave in the world?
I want to be out of a job. Like, I want when my clients come and work with me that they don't need me anymore. And I want them to feel like, and not just my clients, I want anyone who comes across with me or speaks with me to realize that this is something I learned in coaching school, that we are all whole, creative, and resourceful. It doesn't matter that we've made mistakes. It doesn't matter what circumstances we come from, that we all have the power to create the type of life that we want. I know it's like overused, be your best self and create the best life, but it's honestly true in the sense of we all have the power to create what kind of life we want. And I want everyone to feel like that no matter what happens in life, especially currently with everything that's going on. People can probably feel defeated or lost, that you have the power to create your best life and be the best person that you can be.
Yeah, I totally agree. So tell me about mindset. When you first started out, what was your mindset like? Um,
What I learned was I kind of had a victim mindset. Not kind of. I definitely had a victim mindset, and I had a fixed mindset. Have you ever read the book Mindset by Carol Dweck?
yes, I have. I'm pretty sure I have.
Yeah, so she did research and found that there's two types of mindsets. There's a fixed mindset and there's a growth mindset. And the way that I grew up, I call myself a recovering perfectionist.
Mhm.
I had type A parents. I'm type A, and everything had to be like right. And so what I internalized as a kid is if I didn't get it right, I wasn't good enough.
Mm,
and and I learned that I had this fixed mindset. I was too afraid to try anything or take any risk, or if I wasn't exactly good at it, I wouldn't even pick it up. And that translated into kind of my career. And so for me, it was really healing through these stories that I had growing up, past relationships. I was My very first husband, it was an abusive marriage. And I had to do some healing through that, that made me feel like I was less than anything, that, if I was ever to become successful, my money would be taken away from me or all be taken away from me. So it was those things that I had to kind of work through and understand that nothing happens to me, things just kind of happen. And they are all learning experiences, all to make me stronger. So, and what I've learned about mindset is it is a daily work, a lifetime work. It
mm,
doesn't just, you work through it and you think you're good and you'll be breezing for the rest of your life. It is, as long as you're growing, you're going to be hit with uncomfortable mindset shifts.
mm, yeah, definitely. Um, and so can you speak to like a challenge or a hurdle that you've personally faced and how you overcame it?
Yeah. So speaking of the past relationship with my marriage, I left with like $341 in my bank account. And the last night I was ever with my husband, I thought I was going to end up being in the hospital or even worse. And I ended up having to get police escorted out of the house we both owned with only 300 and something dollars to my name with just a backpack of clothes. I left with nothing. Um, I've always had to have someone come in and mediate, essentially, so we couldn't be in the same room because I was always worried about my safety. And at that time I was working really hard to just kind of rebuild my life, be financially stable again. And just, there were times and days where I just had to make the decision, do I pay my bills or do I put money in my for gas in my car so I can make it to work so I can make money. It was all those like, what do I do, or feed myself. And so it took me about a year and a half to actually get stable and financially free and happy. And one day I looked at my bank account and it was overdrawn and I didn't understand why. I was one of those, I was watching everything. So, and found out when I talked to my boss that my paycheck was being garnished because my ex-husband didn't pay for the mortgage or the HOA fees. And because he was active duty military, they couldn't go after him. So they went after me. So that kind of added to my stories of, if I was ever successful, money would be taken away from me, or any of that would be taken away from me. And it took that and everything I went through with that relationship, it took a good 5 or 6 years to kind of heal through it. I'm still working through that. But it has kept me under earning for years. It has kept me ever moving up in companies or ever really fulling out, going out for my dreams. And it took me learning about mindset and working through my own stories that really helped me push through all of that. So as of last year, it's been a little over a year, as of April of last year, 2019, I walked away from my job and I went to full-time entrepreneurship. I now own 3 businesses. And last year, I got the courage to write my own book and publish it. So, and that's something I'm super proud of. It's not an Amazon bestseller by any means, but it's a thing, a dream I've always had, and I've gotten great feedback for it. So for me to come from someone who thought that she would never have anything, or let alone be here, and to be able to say I can be standing on my own and own my 3 businesses and be able to write a book is something I'm super proud of.
Amazing. Yeah, that's so inspiring. What a like strong story of resilience and courage, and to show, like, it so shows that what is possible for other women out there as well. Um and now, do you ever struggle and fall?
I still struggle. I still struggle with imposter syndrome. There are certain days, and if you don't know what imposter syndrome is, it's this belief that no matter what, how much success or achievements you have, or how much knowledge you have in your expertise or your job or your business, that you are worried that you're going to be found out as a fraud. That someone's going to come up and say that you're a fraud, you don't know exactly what you're doing or talking about. And so it's actually very common with women, and that still comes up for me from time to time, but I do work through that. I am still working through some money stories now, and but each day I work on it and challenge it, and I always see continuous growth. So it's just, I know more by studying mindset and those things to be more creative, to be more resourceful and more resilient now than I ever have been.
Amazing. And so, what's like a little tweak that someone can make to their mindset now to like open up that creativity and productivity?
It really depends. So if money seems to be a big story for a lot of people, I have this, it's not a tool, but it's an exercise. It's called an abundance tracker. And you can literally download a free app, like a check register app. And I learned this through my research and a couple exercises. And this was the one exercise that really changed my mindset about lack to abundance, like money being taken away from me. And I'm going to tie this into creativity, but I tracked for 30 days, anything that I got for free. If someone bought me coffee, if I had discounts or saved money at the grocery store, or I found money in my pockets, I literally put everything on there, including my paychecks. If I got clients, and I did this while I was like still working full time and building my coaching business. And I realized if I hadn't done that exercise, that I wouldn't have seen that I had manifested or money came to me in the form of $6,000. Like it was between $5,000 and $6,000, because it's so easy to see like the money being taken out of your bank account and not seeing anything in there. And what that helped me realize was, if we always focus on what we don't have and not what we have, then we don't realize the kind of tools and resources and opportunities that are in front of us. So now what I do is really focus on, if something bad happens to me or something doesn't work out the way I want it to, I ask myself, what is this teaching me? So
Mm,
this is a great tool to ask yourself or exercise, like, what is this moment, or what is this experience, or what is this person teaching me right now in this moment? And you might have to sit down and journal a little bit and figure it out. But when you ask yourself that, then it's not so much something being done to you, it's more something teaching you to grow, and switching from that fixed mindset to that growth mindset. And when it comes to being a business owner, or just a person, this is going to make you creative. It's going to make you problem solve. It's going to make you think outside the box, like, oh, you know what? Maybe that wasn't about me, because lately that person has been going through some personal stuff. I kind of hurt. Maybe today was just a bad day, and that's why she snapped at me. Or, like the other day, I had so many technical issues with my email software system while launching a virtual summit. And I did get upset, but I realized, I can get upset and continue with the software, or I can try to figure out a better response. So what is this teaching me? This is teaching me that, this company is not a great company to work with. Their customer service wasn't really helpful. So what can I do to find and fix it? So I went and just, instead of sitting there mourning and complaining all day, I went and found a different software system that could help us, and switched, and I had no issues. So it's just one of those things. And finding rest. I'm big about taking action, massive action.
mm,
But if your body is telling you you're tired, then you need to rest. Working 14 hours a day for 3 weeks straight is not going to be helpful to your creativity at all.
I love that, because I am such an advocate for really tuning into what is going to be most useful. And I also think setting yourself up for success and doing small things, and like switching. What that example you just gave is such a perfect example of just really like doing something small in that moment that's actually going to like move the needle and create the results you want, because it can be so easy, and I've done this before, to slip into that spiral of inaction and just it's like this debilitating fear because everything seems overwhelming in that moment. But yeah, I love that, separating yourself from it enough so you can think clearly and have that clarity to move forward. And it doesn't always have to be like a huge thing. It's just having that reason, that clarity. That's really useful. And so for you now, what is your like go-to daily kind of mindset practice that you have that you lean into every day?
I don't always meditate, but I definitely will recommend it. But for me, my daily kind of mindset ritual is I like to journal 3 things that I'm grateful for in the morning. And at night, what I like to do is I've kind of switched this more of doing this as my work day ritual, because when I sit down and kind of talk about the things that I accomplished, or the small wins that I had, and what did I learn, those are the 3 things I used to do at the very end of the night. I do that at the end of the day so I don't continue thinking about work. So these are the 3 things that I do for my mindset. One, so I can sleep better. Because I don't know if you've ever experienced this. It's like going to bed, you're tired, but you can't sleep because you have a million things going on in your head. Like, I need to do this, I need to get this done tomorrow, and blah, 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 blah. I will have insomnia for days if I don't do this ritual. And so what I do is ask myself, what are 3 things that I'm grateful for at the end of the day? Then what are 3 wins I want to celebrate? It doesn't matter if they're small or big. It could be, oh, I worked out for 20 minutes today instead of 15, or, I knocked out of my task list, or, I got a new client. It could be anything. That's what I like to celebrate. And then I like to look at what are 3 things that I learned today.
Mm,
So it can be as simple as small as, I learned how to better communicate when I'm upset. Or it could be, oh, I learned, how to edit a video. It could be, I learned a new recipe, anything that you can learn from that day, because then you're training your brain to look for the positives instead of thinking about all the things you didn't get done that day. And
mm.
so that's been really helpful. And I actually, at the end of the day with my husband, I will ask him, like, what are 3 things that you're grateful for? What are 3 things that you learned? And so it's kind of our thing too at the very end that we share.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think that can be really supportive when you have like a partner and stuff that's open to doing that stuff as well. Like my partner, when we don't do that, he's got a really strong mindset and is really committed to mindset practices and work and stuff. And um, yeah, what would you say to someone whose partner might or not be as supportive around their mindset stuff and doing this kind of work?
I would say show compassion. Everyone has their own stories, and everyone will have their own like advice based on their own fears and experiences. And the best thing that I've ever seen with other people and personally is lead by example.
Mm,
My husband would just like, and he's like the most supportive person, but he didn't get like all my mindset, law of attraction kind of stuff when I first started getting into it. But when I started talking about it more and showing experiences and how things were happening for me, he started picking things up and he started being more into it. Now, I swear he's like my mindset coach. So,
awesome.
and all you can do is only control your own attitude and your own experiences and your own vibes. And I think a lot of people try so hard to change other people, and you just got to be in the space of believing wholeheartedly in what you believe and continue practicing it, and people are going to see that and they're going to end up on, they're going to see it, they're going to watch you, and they're going to see that things are positively happening to you because you have this positive mindset and positive attitude, and they're going to end up trying on their own and see that it works for themselves.
Mm,
And so that's the best advice I can give is show compassion and just keep practicing it and be an example for them. It's just like parents with kids,
Mhm.
be the example and they'll end up learning from you and they end up practicing it on their own.
Totally. Yeah. And who's been your most impactful teacher?
Mm, I have followed Manifestation Babe for the longest time, to learn all about law of attraction. And for me right now, I think my biggest mentor is my coach, Amanda Abea. And I also follow Cara Alwell-Labo. She's a life coach. She's called the Champagne Diet, or that was like
Mhm.
her brand on Instagram. And she's very transparent about her lessons in lives and how she's still learning, mindset shifts and still learning all these stories, but she's very open about it, and you've seen her growth. And so I like that transparency because it shows me it's not just someone who's flashy and has a ton of money, and you know what I mean, like we see all those things on Instagram, we just think, oh, they just have it. To be able to see someone actually be transparent and vulnerable and show all the different aspects, and that she still wakes up every day with a positive attitude and keeps practicing what she preaches, um, gives me motivation to keep showing up each day. And regardless of if I'm having a good day or a bad day, or I feel strong or don't feel strong, that I'm just going to be the best person that I can be that day.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's so important for people to share their stories. And you mentioned imposter syndrome, and that can get so in the way that sometimes I've experienced it massively. But coming back to your story and sharing from your heart, it gives other people permission to do the same thing, and it's so inspiring. I think that's what really can touch people and inspire people to work with you or connect with you, or step into their own power. Um,
Yeah.
and what inspires you? What makes you feel like your best self?
Um, Honestly, my husband and my puppy. I just love the life that we have. Um, After that first marriage and relationship, I'm gonna be honest, I thought I was gonna be alone for the rest of my life. I was never gonna get married. I didn't feel like I deserved anyone that was amazing. And he is everything I ever wanted and needed. And it's gonna sound really sappy, but he's super supportive, and having that kind of support, and he's such a good, kind person that it makes me want to work harder and be a good, kind person in everything I do and everything I work hard for. So that's my inspiration is, continuing to enjoy and be grateful for the life I have. And it's okay to want more, if
Mm,
that makes any sense.
it makes total sense, definitely. Um, and what are you curious about right now?
What am I diving more into? I'm learning a lot more about emotional freedom technique. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called
Yeah,
tapping.
I'm a
And
practitioner.
it's all about, yeah, and it's a exercise, and some of my massage therapist friends have learned it through her programs. And I've been like in and out of, I've known about it for about a couple years and done it, but I have like delved a little bit more into it and learning about how that could be a great healing modality. And so I might be diving into that later on in the year after I get my other certifications as another tool to help my clients.
Yeah, I love EFT. Um, it really can help with those subconscious blocks and stuff. And I remember when I was really going through like a deep depression after I had my son, I really leaned, that was one of the tools I really leaned on to help me. And it really helped clear stuff that I was not conscious of and didn't feel like I could just get into and think about and journal on, because it was
Yeah.
so deeply embedded. But yeah, I really love it. And what's your favorite book and why?
Oh, I have so many.
Sorry,
um,
that's a hard question.
it is. I'm such a reader. Like I literally have my community. I have a book club, and so we read a business book each month that will help, your business. And then I'm in a regular like book club where I get to learn like a new kind of genre and read. So that's really difficult. I would have to say, I think my favorite book when it comes to business or even mindset would be The One Thing by Gary Keller.
Mm-hmm.
It really helped me pull. I This is how I help my clients too, because I've done it myself. Is I have all these $1 million ideas and I try to go in all these different directions, but this book really helped me with productivity and really focusing on one thing and be able to take massive action without burning out and actually see results. So it's a book that I recommend to everybody, and it's not just for business. So if you want to get better at your profession or your skill, it's all about, creating goals, the big goals, and then reverse engineering and blocking off time to really focus on creating those goals, like creating results for those goals. So I really like that in general. I'm a big Harry Potter fan, so I will always read those. If it comes to fiction, I love historical fiction.
Yeah.
And another book that I'm reading right now is called Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. Um, so
Mm.
I love that he doesn't make selling sleazy, and that, what we're doing when we're selling, whether we're like selling ourselves or trying to convince our spouse to like wash the dishes or actually selling a product or service, is whatever we're doing, we're trying to provide a service for someone else's problem.
Mm.
So I'm about halfway through the book and I like a lot of things in there. The only thing I can not say I really match with him is like his super high energy
Yeah, he's
about
got a lot of
never stopping. That's the one thing I can't match with him. Like, I'm definitely about, yes, let's take action and get to work, but I'm also about, you need to rest in order you to be functional, to continue to see. So, but yeah, that's what I'm reading currently.
amazing. Yeah, I've got the one thing on audiobook and I haven't listened to it. I was in a program where we were taught all about the concept of it. And so then I got the book after
Mm-hmm.
I learned about it and I haven't listened to it. So you've really reminded me to go back to it and put it on while I'm doing stuff around the house because yeah, I really like the concept of it. I just probably haven't
Yeah, it's
applied it.
good.
Yeah. Um and so what do you wish you'd known when you first started out?
Ooh, I was just recently asked this and I had to contemplate it. And I would say, um, 4 years ago when I started all this, I wish I would have known that it didn't matter what direction I took or what decision I made, that as long as I took action on it, uh, that everything would be okay. So, like for that first 2 years, there's a lot of things I didn't take action on because I was too afraid of doing the wrong thing or the right thing. And I could have been a lot further than I am now. But leaning back in there, I guess the one thing, if I could only say one sentence to myself, is trust my gut.
Mm,
Just trust your gut.
yeah. And so what are your thoughts on failure?
Paleo?
On failure, on failure, sorry. I'm like
Oh,
failing.
failure. Oh,
Yeah.
I would, okay, 4 years ago, Tina would have been like, that's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. Um, Type A recovering perfectionist Tina says that it sucks, failure sucks, but it is a learning experience, because I would not be here right now with my coaching programs and being this far if I hadn't failed so many times. Like, I failed with my book launch. I kind of failed with this virtual summit. I fail all the time. And I think once we all realize that failure is inevitable in any situation, things are just going to happen. But there are situations on helping us grow for something bigger or better down the road. When you're open to that and realize that's, things aren't happening to you, it's happening for you, then you'll realize that failures aren't bad things, they're just lessons. So
Yeah.
that's
I
where I
really,
lean with the failure. It's hard. I'm not going to say it sucks, but they are definitely learning lessons. And I will have to say, I am definitely better today from all my mistakes and failures than I was before.
yeah. And I don't really like to think about things as a failure. I like to see them as an opportunity for learning because I just really
Mhm.
think there's always a gift and a blessing and growth in everything, even if it seems I don't yeah, definitely not easy. It can be so hard sometimes. It can feel hard, but you get through it and there's there's great possibility in that, in my opinion. Um
Yeah.
What would you do differently?
I don't know if I would do anything differently. I think personally where I'm at right now, I wished I would have taken more risk in the beginning of my whole entrepreneur journey. But if it came to things in my life, even with all the mistakes I've made and, situations I've been, I wouldn't have changed it because it took me healing through my past situation to realize all those things made me a stronger, resourceful person.
Mm,
And I went through those things to be in this place to learn about neurolinguistic programming, to be able to help other people work through it, if that makes any sense.
yeah, it
So
makes
I
sense.
wouldn't change. Yeah, I wouldn't change. As hard as what I went through was hard, I went through it for a reason. And I made the decisions that I made in the past, mistakes that I made in the past, but I was just the best person I could be at that day. Doesn't mean I was my best person, but that I had what I had, my tools, my knowledge, and I made the best decision that I could in those moments. Does it make sense? So
Mm,
for me, it's like you said, I'm not going to look back and I'm a terrible person or I failed. I'm going to look back and say, okay, all those moments, all those things and situations, no matter how bad or good they were, happened for a reason because I'm meant to be here where I'm at this moment.
yeah. Um, and if you could remove all barriers and all constraints, what would you want to be known for? And is there like a project that you would really want to work on?
Mm, I'm very big on philanthropy, and my three biggest passions are poverty, child hunger, and education. So for me, at the end all be all, I want to be this millionaire, billionaire because I want to be able to do these philanthropic
Mm,
opportunities and to help combat these things because
yeah.
they are super passionate for me. So if there were no barriers and money was uh, I mean, money is in abundance. It's just not physically here in my bank account. Is I would essentially probably retire, but be able to create foundations to be able to help with these situations.
Amazing. And I'm curious. You mentioned this before. So you have three businesses. Um, can you tell me
Mm-hmm.
about them?
Yeah, so the one that I mainly work with is my coaching business, the one I was been talking about. I call myself a mindset success coach. I mainly work with overwhelmed, multi-passionate entrepreneurs who either own several businesses or have several passions and just can't find the focus or clarity on what to focus on to actually start getting results. That's been my focus because that's what I went through, and so I'm able to teach that. The other one is I've been in the restaurant industry for 17 plus years. That's kind of been like my career background and actually running businesses. And so I have a catering company with my husband that we do part time, kind of like put money into a retirement fund or somehow grow other things. And we're both foodies, so we like to just cook and entertain. And so that's what we have. And the other one is I am the chief operations officer for Black Girl Fund Magic. It originally was a nonprofit, but we moved it to being just a regular business. And what we do is an organization that supports women of color in personal finance who teach financial literacy through a myriad of different industries, whether they're personal finance bloggers, coaches, financial planners, insurance agents, real estate investors. The key is to be able to support them and elevate their voice. And we're about 2.5 years old. We started off as a Facebook group. And actually, we started off as 30 women at FinCon, which is a conference for people in personal finance, turned into a Facebook group about 300. And now we just finished with that virtual summit of teaching personal finance with 30 different expert speakers. And so I'm very proud of that. That's part of my philanthropic endeavor.
Wow.
Even though it's not a nonprofit, it's a passion of mine to help support their voices and be able to get that information out. Financial literacy was lacking in schools. And every single one of these speakers, every single woman in this community has taught themselves, learned themselves, and be able to pull themselves out of really dire financial situations into becoming financially free. And so they're using their experiences and their expertise to teach others to do it as well.
Wow, what a beautiful gift to share with the world and to do that such valuable heart mission kind of work. I just, yeah, really moves me. And what's the best compliment you've ever received?
Oh, I don't know. I would say, wow, that really stumped me. I've never been asked that before. I would say, I think the biggest compliment I've ever gotten is that I want to say dumb it down, but in general, that how resourceful I am, that
Mm,
I've been told all the time, it's like, Tina, you will figure it out. We're never worried about you. So even if something bad happens, they know I'm like, I might cry one night and the next morning I got a solution. I'm
yeah.
getting and going and getting to work. So I would say that's the biggest compliment to me, is because it attests to everything, all my different personality traits in one. It's not like, oh, you're really smart, or, oh, you're very pretty. It's like, no, you're very resourceful and you're very willing to try hard and figure things out. So I would say that.
Amazing. Yeah, that's incredible. And what's something your work's done for a client that you didn't expect?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
What is something that your work's done for a client that you didn't expect?
Hmm. I don't know, actually.
Hmm. Well, what's something? Well, can you speak about something that like has really blown you away that your work's done for a client?
Um, no, I want to say that I just get excited when my clients have that light bulb moment, that aha moment, and they just start to take charge. Like
Yeah.
I've had clients decide to change their whole business model and see how much they're really truly worth and stop undercharging, and literally changed their whole business model where they were making twice as much as they were before, had less clients, and work with the right clients they wanted to, and be able to spend more time with their kids. So those are the moments that I really enjoy seeing. And it can be even as something small as, I had a client realize, I don't want to be working as much as I do. I don't need to build like this giant 6-figure business. I just need a business that, where I can put some money away, be able to travel, but I really want to spend more time with my husband or, my nieces. So it's those moments, and they're all different for everybody. But
Mm.
when they have those aha moments and they're be able to take charge and take the tools that I give them to kind of change things, is those are the amazing moments that I see. Those are my gifts. Is I didn't really have to do it. I was just a guide to help them figure out their own answers.
Yeah. And what does elevating your life and soul mean to you?
To me, it means not being comfortable where I'm at. And I say that in the sense of, everyone has a job, everyone has these gifts, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be, you want to be the best mom ever, then pour your whole soul and heart into it and be the best mom ever. And so for me, it's continuously growing and learning and being the best person that I can be. So I don't have to be a millionaire, billionaire. If I'm able to, change one life or one person's mindset for the positive, and they end up doing all the things I wanted to, then to me, that's my legacy. So
Mm.
for me, it's just consistently growing and trying to be the best person that I can be.
Yeah, amazing. Um, and yeah, is there anything else that you wish that you wish I'd asked you today, or any final thoughts or tips that you'd love to share before we sign off?
I don't know, but if anybody has questions, I'll definitely answer them. If you put them in the comments, I'll make sure to follow the podcast and the video. But I would like everyone to walk away with knowing that it doesn't matter what happened to you, or what circumstances you're in currently, that you are deserving, you are enough, and you have something powerful and have a gift to share with other people. It may sound cliche, but it could be, you are the world to your family. And so showing up every day, being the best mom or best dad, or, showing up to work and being the best manager, leader, or, showing up for yourself, that whatever you're going through today, if it's a bad situation, know that it will be 1,000 times better in the future. And it's going to be hard to see that now, but trust me, I've been through a lot of things. It is a lot better.
Yeah.
You will grow and you will get out.
Amazing. And how can people connect with you, and what offers do you have out there?
Yeah, so you can find me at theprofitproject.co, .co, not .com. That's my website. I mainly hang out on Instagram and Facebook, so you can find my page or my Instagram account at Profit Project Co. Come say hi in the DMs and comment, and I generally are very more laid back and vulnerable in my Instagram stories and share behind the scenes there. I am going to be launching my academy, which is all about teaching you some business strategy and tech stuff. That seems to be the barrier for a lot of people. And I also teach a mindset class each month. So it's going to start next month. So it's going to be one business class and one mindset class. And I have my group coaching program, which is an 8-week program called Focus to Flourish. And it's all about creating a profitable business model, business systems, and knowing exactly what you need to focus on so you can grow revenue. And yeah, that's where you can find me. That's where I hang out the most, is Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. And I'll put all the details in the show notes so everyone can check them out and connect with you. Well, thank you so much for today. It's been great chatting with you, and some really useful, valuable stuff, and just your story. It's so inspiring. So I'm really, lost my voice there. I'm really grateful for you being here today.
Well, thank you. And hopefully my story can help somebody else get through another day.
Thank you.